Hi everyone. Today we're going to be talking about properties of addition and multiplication. And in Alex, the specific topics that we're talking about will be up at the top in blue. So let me find my tools that I've lost real quickly. Now, the goal of using our properties of numbers allows us to hopefully do some mental math real quickly. Okay, so properties of addition that are going to be important for us to know. The commutative property of addition. This allows us to change the order of the add-ins, does not change our sum. So for example, I can say 9 plus 5 is the same as saying 5 plus 9. So I've just flip-flopped the order. Our associative property of addition allows us to change the grouping. And when we change the grouping, it does not change the sum. So basically this means that 9 plus the sum of 5 plus 4 is the same as saying 9 plus the sum of 9 plus 5 plus 4. So basically we're going to have 9 plus 9 is equal to 18, which is equal to 9 plus 5 is 14 plus 4 is also equal to 18. So I can change the grouping. And usually we know that we're dealing with the associative property. If I see parentheses, that's going to be a clue that I'm going to have the associative property. All right, our next property is the identity property. And the identity property says the sum of 0 and any number is that 0. So 0 plus 9 equals 9. And that should make sense. If I add 0 to something, I'm going to have the same number that I started with. And then, so these are our properties of addition. So we've got 3 properties of addition. Now we're going to move into properties of multiplication. If you notice, our properties of multiplication are going to have the same headings. Okay, so basically, again, for commutative property, changing the order does not matter. So saying 4 times 6 is the same thing as saying 6 times 4. Either way, I get 24. Properties of multiplication with our... Oh, we already did commutative. Sorry. So let's jump down to associative. Associative, again, changing the grouping does not change the product. So I can say 4 times 6 times 2. So either way, I'm going to end up with a final answer of 48 in this case. And then the only one that's going to be a little different, the identity property of multiplication, is going to be the product of 1 and any of the number is 1. So 4 times 1 equals 4. And the identity property of addition, remember, we were saying the sum of any number and 0 is the same number. Okay, so for our properties of multiplication and addition, we can use commutative, associative, and identity. And this is going to make mental math really easy for us. Okay, that's kind of the goal. So let's do a couple of examples. We're going to do a problem together, and then you're going to do one by yourself, and we'll check your answer. Okay, so in this question, we want to use mental math to find 64 plus 26. All right, so we are going to look at the add-ins and notice that they end in 6 and 4, which combine to make 10. Okay, so I'm going to use my expanded form here and think of 64 as being 60 plus 4. So if I add 4 to 26, I can get 30. 60 plus 30 is 90. So 64 plus 26 is equal to 90. So that's the thought process of how we got an answer of 90. So why does it actually work? Because again, I'm going to rewrite 64 as 60 plus 4. Then I'm using the associative property of addition. So remember, associative property means I can regroup things. So I've regrouped to be, so I'm changing where my parentheses are. So I'm going to regroup to be 4 plus 26, and that's how easily I got 30. 30 plus 60 is 90. Okay, now I would like for you to hit pause on your video, and you are going to do a problem by yourself, and then tell me which property did you use. So go ahead and hit pause, and I'll be back to check your answer. All right, let's see. I'm probably going to use the associative property again on this, and I'm going to regroup 22 plus 8, because I know that 22 plus 8 off the top of my head is 30. So then I'm going to have 30 plus 19, which equals 49. So I use the associative property to regroup those. Okay, let's do an example of multiplication. Okay, so I want to know what's 25 times 7 times 4. So I'm going to think, what can I multiply real easily together? So real easily, I know that 25 times 4 is 100. And 100 times 7 is 700. Okay, so what allowed us to change the order of 25 times 7 times 4? That was the commutative property. And then when I grouped them together, that was the associative property that allowed me to regroup those. So again, I do 24 times 7 inside the parentheses, and then simplify to get a final answer of 700. All right. Now I would like for you to try the U-try problem by yourself and tell me which property you used to find that answer. So go ahead and hit pause on your video. All right. So I'm probably going to change the order of this as I'm looking through here. I know that 20 times 5 is 100. So I'm going to regroup this first to do 20 times 5. So I know that 20 times 5 is 100, and then I can multiply that by 6. So my final answer should be 600. So if I'm going to regroup, I'm going to be using the associative property. I'm going to regroup. So again, the idea of understanding what these properties allow you to do, all of these properties allow you to change the order, regroup. You want to be able to do mental math real quickly. So when I can change the order or regroup things around, that allows me to use mental math, and I am good to go. Tomorrow we'll be doing some practice problems with using the properties of addition and multiplication. See you then.